here are 10 reasons why you shouldn't manage your own stock portfolio. In this video, I want to be transparent. I want to be honest with you. Investing in stocks is time consuming, it can be stressful, and it's not for everybody. So I know there are a lot of YouTube videos saying that stocks only go up, stocks to the moon, this is funny, you only make money, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's very stressful, sometimes you enter a bear market, markets are crashing, sometimes you lose in an investment, and that's part of the process. So yeah, in case you are new to this YouTube channel, welcome. My name is Christophe Nour. I've been investing in stocks for almost a decade with a performance of 25% per year. And in this video, I will give you some tips, some recommendations to not manage your own stock portfolio so that you know if stock picking is for you or not. And let's not waste more time. The first reason why you shouldn't manage your own portfolio is if you don't have the time. I prefer to be honest with you. Stock picking can take some time. If you are a passionate person like me, you like to dig, you like to investigate, you are like a detective, you want to turn some rocks, as we say, discover a lot of new companies, investigate, look at the numbers, and it takes some time. If you don't have the time on staying on top of markets, the news, what is happening, and company updates can quickly take over your day. So if you have a job that is already time consuming, if you don't have the motivation to read some articles online, go on Twitter and read a thread about a company that you like, about having a portfolio and keeping in touch with your companies, learning about your companies, watching videos about your companies, that takes a lot of time. If you don't want to do this, you shouldn't manage your own portfolio. I prefer to be honest, it takes some time. If you think it will take only 10 minutes per week, no. Second point, if you make emotional decisions, fear, excitement, and stress can lead you to buy or sell at the wrong moments. If you are an emotional person, investing is not for you. That's not me saying this, that's Warren Buffett. One of the most important part of investing is temperament. Whether you have good picks or not, doesn't matter. If you panic and you sell at the wrong time, and even if your analysis skills are great, even if you only pick the best stocks, if you sell at the wrong time, if you buy at the wrong time, that will be a mess. You will lose a lot of your performance. If you are not confident, sure about your picks, if you lack some conviction, if you are too emotional, you will panic. And markets can be very scary sometimes. Now we are at the end of 2024, so markets only go up. So yeah, you can have some excitement, some euphoria, that's good, and Bitcoin to the moon. Now we are, at the moment of recording this video, Bitcoin is at $98,000. Everybody expects it to be 100K today or tomorrow. I just created a poll on eToro, this is a social trading platform, asking this: do you think it will reach 100K? Everybody's saying yes. Everybody's bullish, everybody's euphoric. Investing is not always like this. Sometimes you have 2022. 2022 was a long, downward, slippery slope. It was down and down, down again, and fake bullish pattern, and then down again and down again. And you had some great companies. You can take Nvidia, Microsoft, Netflix, Meta platforms, Google. They all crashed from 20% to 70%. Do you have the guts to handle a 70% drawdown? So if the company was 10% of your portfolio, and if it falls 50%, you just lost 5% of your portfolio, like this, within 1 year, because of nothing, because of the way the markets work. So that's how a lot of people can have some fear, be afraid of losing money, sell at the very wrong time. And most of the time when stocks go down, like in 2022, this is not a selling period, this should be a buying period. But I understand, I was there in 2022. I saw the YouTube videos, I saw the thumbnails in red with some fire, I saw a lot of videos saying, guys, the market is down 20%, it will get worse. Before it got better, but it gets better, but it will be down 50%. Jerome Powell will crash the market. You have plenty of reasons to be bearish on the market. how is the saying? Bears sound smart, bulls make money. If you are not an optimistic person, confident, rational, maybe investing is not for you. Maybe stock picking is not for you. So have the time and be rational. If you are an emotional person, maybe the best way for you to invest is to just buy an S&P 500 index and never look at it. Do a DCA, dollar cost average, in your ETF, in your 401k, in your retirement account, and that's it. And never look at it. Literally never look at it, because that's how you can create some generational wealth over the long term. Every month you put some money. So only invest in stock portfolio if you are a rational person that is not victim of their emotions. Third point for you: if you hate doing tons of research, you will find there is always more you need to learn to invest well. Yes, absolutely. There is a saying, maybe it was Charlie Munger, or I don't know, maybe I suppose Charlie Munger, saying that you never know 100% of the information before investing in a stock. You can only know 70%, maybe 80%, but that's it. Maybe that's not Charlie Munger, maybe that's Joel Greenblatt, maybe I'm forgetting, but you get the point. You never know 100% of the stock. This is a continuous learning experience. When you buy a stock, you investigate and you will continue to learn about the company. So if you hate doing a lot of research, I'm personally reading a lot during the day. This is my main activity. I watch a lot of videos about my companies. Or I listen to podcasts. Two guys in Sweden made a podcast. There are 30 views about my company, but I like it. I love it. You got plenty of insights from an insider that is sharing their experience, or small podcasts, small substacks. You need to love the detective process, the research process, because at the end of the day, the goal is to generate 20% per year in the stock market. You want to outperform the market, so you want to make 15% per year, 20% per year. Young people will say even more. So the way you outperform the market is by knowing more, is having an edge. So you need to do a ton of research. If you don't like researching, if you get bored easily, I don't know if there is a study with people with the ADHD that have difficulty reading long documents, and if there is a correlation with the stock market performance. I would be curious to have this kind of information. Maybe there are better investors, maybe worse investors, I don't know. But yeah, you need to be focused, long time span of attention span, long focused, read a lot, watch a lot of stuff, and that's how you will have an edge. That's how you will know a lot of information, recognize patterns between two different companies, and say, okay, this company reminds me of this other company that I viewed, I researched 3 years ago, and okay, there are some links here, but that takes a lot of time, a lot of research. So if you don't like the research process, investing is not for you. Stock picking is not for you. What is that? Nope. Okay, if you are overwhelmed by information, sorting through financial news, opinions, and data can lead to data paralysis. Yeah, if there is 1 week full of events with some presidency or some conflicts, geopolitical conflicts, and you don't know what to do, and you are in your analysis paralysis because there are too many information, that could be painful. The good thing for this point is that there is a cure. I've had calls with some subscribers that there is a link in the description to book a call with me, for example, saying, okay, I have the analysis paralysis. There are too much information. I don't know what is important and what is not important. So what should I focus on? So in my coaching program, we do this kind of stuff. I tell them to ditch the bad information, to just focus on what is important, because at the end of the day, only a few metrics gathered will allow a stock to go up. Not everything is important, by the way. So you just have to see what is important, what is not. And if you don't like the process, if you are in this analysis paralysis, too much information, your brain gets locked in this bad situation, investing is not for you. Or maybe you need to join the coaching program, but you will have great difficulty because we are living in a moving world. Companies are living entities. Every year is different. Every decade is different, especially now with AI. A lot of companies move very fast. Innovation moves very fast. And if you fall behind of AI or anything tech about the industry, if you fall behind because you say, oh, there is too much information, let me just not do the work, if you fall behind, you're dead. You will underperform. That's how a lot of companies have died, by the way. They went bankrupt because they didn't follow up with innovation. And I mean, you have this example with Netflix and Blockbuster. Blockbuster didn't want to go to the streaming service, and they took the train a little bit later, and there was some activism over there, and it was a mess, and they went bankrupt. Or you have a lot of people, you have Nokia, you have BlackBerry, you have a lot of companies. What's the name of the camera company? It's not Fuji. Oh, I'm too young for this. I don't know. Canon. Oh no, Kodak. That's Kodak, right? Okay, that's Kodak. Kodak didn't want to take the innovation, and they went bankrupt. I mean, they didn't go bankrupt, but nobody's using Kodak anymore, and the stock price, if you had invested in Kodak, you lost everything. If you don't follow up with information, if you don't keep up with information, there is a high likelihood that you will lose money. So don't be overwhelmed by information. And if you are, you can book a call with me. I will help you with the coaching program. Or that's very painful. But obviously, there is a cure for this. So if you are overwhelmed by information, maybe stock picking is not for you, because we are living in a world full of information. By the way, at the time, like 50 years ago, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have access to so much information. So it was quite difficult to get the annual report of a company. For example, you have to, mail something, call somebody, call the SEC. I don't even know how to do it and how they did it. Maybe you have to call or to text the SEC to receive the documents. Anyway, it was a mess. Now that's the reverse. It's fairly easy to get access to the annual report of a company, to all the documents of a company, to all the press releases of a company, all the comments from the CEO. It's very easy. 2 clicks. You go to the company's website, investor relations, investor annual reports, and that's it. Now we have too much information. How do you sort out the bad information from the good information, the relevant information from the irrelevant information? How do you do it? There is too much information in the market right now, and how do you say it? Clumsy people will fall behind. If you are disorganized, you will fall behind. So you need to be organized and have a good judgment of determining if this is a good information or a bad information. So yeah, over time it will work, and there is a cure for this. By the way, if you're looking for a complete framework to analyze stocks and build a strong portfolio, I have a coaching program. More on that at the end of the video. Okay, if you are not a naturally curious person, investing is not for you. Investing can be tough, as there is always more to learn and understand. This correlates what I had with if you hate doing some research, by the way. So I'm a curious person. I'm always on the edge to find new companies, interesting companies, and I love following up on these companies, the companies I have in my portfolio or on my watch list, because I want to know how they evolve. I want to know if they acquired a new company. Okay, how did it turn out? Was it good, bad? What happened? What was the reason? What is the next move? What is happening? That's also the reason I read a lot, watch a lot of videos, read some hidden Substacks, listen to some hidden podcasts from 2 Swedish guys. If you are not a naturally curious person, you will not have enough passion to do stock picking for the long term. And that's Stanley Druckenmiller, one of the best trader of our time, averaging 30% per year for 30 years, which is fabulous. He says, if you are not passionate about the markets, don't go in this industry. As a job, he means. As a job, don't go in, because you will compete with passionate people that will do that all week long. I know it, I'll do this all week long and all the weekend long. Every day, there is no weekend for me. And Stanley Druckenmiller, when he was asked about young students, what do you have, any job advice, he says this: don't go in this industry if you're not passionate, if you're not curious, because you will compete with guys that will work 24/7 and will analyze stocks and will turn more rocks than you and will read more information than you, and that's it. But you, I guess most of my subscribers are not working in the finance sphere. You are not in the finance industry. I see the stats, by the way. So you are a high income person but don't work in the finance sphere, either entrepreneur, engineer, doctor, this kind of stuff. And if you are not a curious person, you will not find the passion to invest in stocks. So that's it. That's it. If you are curious, welcome to welcome to the band. Welcome to the band. Okay, next point. If you struggle to keep up with new trends, it can be hard to understand how new technologies and industries are changing the market. Yep, absolutely. If you think AI is a scam, I mean, what are you doing? You are not living with your world. It's like the people that said internet will not work. Guys, I see a lot of people, actually, a lot of my relatives tell me that some people didn't want to embrace internet. So they didn't touch a computer. They even didn't touch a smartphone. And in the next 10 years with AI and everything, all the administrative stuff, all the world they will living will be not for them. I mean, they are not used to living in this world. And that's how you fall behind as a generation. So if you're a person that struggles to keep up with new trends, I mean, now AI is the big buzzword, but it's kind of working. I use ChatGPT every day. I learn about ChatGPT every day because I know that in the next few years, ChatGPT will be a main asset for all businesses. And if this is not ChatGPT, this is anything else, a new AI tool. But if you don't follow up with new trends, you will fall behind. And actually, as a business owner slash investor, not keeping up with new trends is a huge risk. Imagine you are invested in a logistics business. Very well, ports, airports, okay, very well, logistics business. Now there is AI, so a lot of stuff can be automated with AI. Imagine there is a new company, a competitor of your logistic company, that uses AI to the software and is more efficient. If you are not able to see what AI is, how can you see if this is a threat? How can you see if your stock is at risk? And if you don't know what is happening, if you are overwhelmed by too much information, if you have the analysis paralysis and you don't know what AI is, you will not see the risk. And I don't know, in the next 3 years, your company may struggle because they didn't invest in AI and they got eaten their lunch by somebody else. That can happen. And we see this with Chinese companies. For example, Chinese companies are pure capitalistic, hardcore companies that eat each other, basically. This is very hard and harsh graders, more than in the US. This is very competitive. If you don't follow up with new trends, that's how you fall behind by a lot. And if you follow the new trends, that's a good point. I mean, you follow the trends, you know the risk, you know what is happening. So that's very good. So yeah, if you don't want to follow up with the news, too much information, don't invest in stocks. Just buy a S&P 500, MSCI World, buy an ETF, and sleep soundly. If you don't have the discipline to stick to your strategy, that's very important. You will see your neighbor get rich faster than you because they invested in Dogecoin. You know how painful it is. You do your own due diligence. You invest in safe European banks, safe stuff, and you do 6% per year. Now here is your neighbor. He's 21. He put 50K in the Dogecoin, and now he's a millionaire. How do you react? We are humans, driven by greed, driven by envy. How do you react? Some people, I've seen people, I have this small YouTube channel, so I talk to a lot of people. And I have received some messages that people completely panic in this moment. They panic completely, sell everything they have to buy some Dogecoin. That's how you make stupid mistakes. If you don't have the discipline to have a strategy, stick to it. Even if your neighbor is getting richer because they invested in a coin, in a crypto, whether it's legit or not. Dogecoin is going up. If you don't have the discipline, you will make a huge mistake. You will see a lot of this phenomenon. I have taken the example with Dogecoin because that's quite famous for being a little bit crazy, crazy market. But you have plenty of other examples. For example, you could argue that a lot of AI names that doubled in value in the last 12 months are now expensive. So according to your process, don't touch this stock's expensive. But you will see people on Twitter talking about the stock. And you will see additionally that the price drives the narrative. When Meta platforms, Facebook now, is at all-time high, like around $600, everything is well. Mark Zuckerberg is a genius CEO, driven CEO, a lot of vision. Look at the platform, how great it is. That's perfect. They can double in value. I was a shareholder. I have been a shareholder since 2018. So I have experienced COVID. I have experienced Cambridge Analytica. I have experienced the downfall of 2022. And I was there when people were talking bad about Meta platforms and Mark Zuckerberg in 2022. I was there when the stock crashed 70%. And I'm telling you, price drives narrative. People said that Mark Zuckerberg is a scam. He burned a lot of money in the VR headsets. Stop this. They get eaten their market share by TikTok. That's a mess. They invest in AI. What is AI? At the time, by the way, nobody knew what AI was. And Mark Zuckerberg, in their earnings calls, Mark Zuckerberg was talking about AI in 2021, 2022, monetizations of Reels, algorithm of Reels, video, vertical video stuff via AI, and nobody cared. Actually, nobody cared at all. And they said, "Oh, that's a scam. Look at this, bad margins, bad publicity. Maybe they don't have a moat. The number of users is now stable, so it's not a growth company. It's a stable company, mature company. How can you make money? Because everybody has Facebook now." Everybody has Facebook, so how do you make more money if you don't have more people on your platform? A lot of worries. You have Apple regulation with the third-party cookies with the ATT. You have a lot of worries. You had a lot of worries in 2022, and everybody believed that Facebook was a scam, Meta platforms was a scam, and now it went down to $80 per share. Now it's at $60 per share, so rebounded. It's a 6x, 7x, I don't know. And now everything is good. So it's all about discipline. You will see a lot of stuff in the stock market. You will see a lot of emotions because we are humans after all. And some people on the internet are beginners, some intermediate, some advanced. If you are easily influenced by other people's opinions, if you are not disciplined, you will make a lot of mistakes. I mean, if you had the discipline, you would have bought Meta platforms along the way when it goes down and down and down because you have a clear process, a clear framework, and you know exactly what to do. So yeah, if you are emotional and you don't have the discipline, run away, buy a S&P 500 ETF, another ETF, and do a DCA, and don't buy Dogecoin. Okay, next one. If you can't handle the pressure to outperform, yeah, that's important. Trying to beat professional investors can be discouraging and exhausting. Sometimes you invest in good stocks, you do the good process, you are disciplined, and you make 6% per year. Congrats, but the S&P did 16%. Okay. Next year, you do the analysis, perfect. Now you do 16% per year. Congrats. But the S&P is up 26% per year. Some people can't handle it. Some people find it too hard and say, "Oh, poor me. I should have invested in the S&P 500 and retire. I should have, I don't know, I'm here. I should have hidden in the Alps in Europe, do some skiing, and not waste any of my time looking at stocks." That is discouraging. And after 2 years, 3 years, they abandon, they give up, and they do something else. You quit the game. Sometimes you will underperform. That's also the reason why you have a stock market index. Sometimes you will outperform, but it's almost impossible to outperform for a sustainable period of time. Only a few investors have outperformed for decades. I mean, I've been investing for, let's say, 7-8 years, so almost a decade. I'm outperforming, but I don't really know if they will outperform for the next 15 years. What do I know? Nobody knows. Maybe I will make a huge mistake, and I don't know. Nobody knows. And same for you, by the way. If you are outperforming, you don't know, maybe 2025 will be horrible for you. Maybe it turns out that one of your stock was a zero, and I don't know. Everything can happen in the stock market. This is a crazy market, and markets have always been crazy. So if you can't handle the pressure to consistently outperform straight to the point, you will panic. This will not be good for your emotions, for your heart. That will be too hard a pressure. So only invest in stocks if you are, how do you say it, cold-blooded, and you are confident that you play a long-term game. Okay, the goal is not to outperform every year. The goal is to survive and make money. The goal is to compound your wealth. The goal is to have a strategy, safe, confident strategy, have a plan for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So if you grow 9% per year, okay, that's good. Over 30 years, you will be fine. If you grow 12% per year, on average, okay, that will be perfect. But sometimes, some years, you will underperform. Don't panic. If you are somebody that panics when they underperform, you are not in a good mood, or you are very sad when you are underperform, you will not stay a lot in this market. Maybe because of a heart attack, maybe because of a problem, but this is not for you. You need the courage to continue, and not a lot of people have the courage to continue, even when they underperform for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I've seen plenty of great investors. I have the example now of Seth Klarman. If you don't know who Seth Klarman is, he's a US investor. Warren Buffett speaks very nicely about Mr. Klarman. He said, if I didn't manage my own money, I would give it to 3 people. So Warren Buffett saying this. He said, 1, Lilu, 2, Greg Alexander, 3, Seth Klarman. So he's one of the lucky few that is approved by Warren Buffett. And during the dot-com bubble in the 90s, late 90s, Seth Klarman didn't invest in tech. He invested in European companies, safe and boring stocks. I read all his letters at the time, and what is good is that they are public. They are completely free. You can read them. And he underperformed the booming Nasdaq, the booming American market for many years. But he stayed in his circle of competence. He stayed disciplined. And when the bubble collapsed in March 2000, all the tech companies went to hell, and he outperformed. He outperformed. It was his time to shine. So markets are cyclical. Stick to your plan, stick to your strategy, ride the wave if you can, and you will have to keep swimming. That's Warren Buffett taking this example. Sometimes you are in a bull market and you swim and you are very fast. Sometimes you are in a bear market, wind against you, and you keep swimming. And you keep swimming regardless of the market environment. You have a strategy, you have a circle of competence, you have a framework, you have a process, and you have the discipline to stick to your strategy. If you feel the pressure to outperform every year, if you panic easily, stock picking is not for you. Next point. If you worry about getting burnt out, consistently analyzing and making decisions can be draining and hard to keep up with. This is a good summary from all the points we've seen before. A lot of emotions are present in this investing process. If you don't control your emotions, if you are worried all the time, if you are stressed all the time, you will burn out. You will burn out because imagine you lose 5% in one day. 2 days later, you lose 3% in one day, 5% in one day. You take hit like Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. You will be punched in the face sometime. It happens. I mean, that's part of the goal. You have Charlie Munger saying, if you can't handle a 50% loss in the market, you are not made for the market. You deserve the mediocre results you will get. You are not a good fit for the market. And this is part of capitalism. The markets will go up a lot. down a lot. This is part of capitalism. This is part of being invested in public markets. So if you worry about getting burnt out because of all this information, all this loads of information, analysis, and you don't like the game, maybe stock picking is not for you. You need to love the game. I love the game. Guys, I love the game. I love researching for new stocks every day of my life and finding great opportunities to get richer, to grow my wealth for the future, to have a plan, stay disciplined. This is a mental game. This is an analytical game. This is a research game. This is a detective game. I love it. So sure, I can do it a lot of hours per day. I don't know. I can do it 10 hours per day. I can do it 1 hour. Even on vacation, I can check. And I don't worry. I don't worry because I have this process and I stick to my guts. I stick to my process. And what is good is that if you have a plan, discipline, and you invest for the long term, you don't even need to check your portfolio. You can check only your portfolio once a week, for example. Because once you have done the process, buying good stocks, good valuation, you buy at a good price and go do something else. Go do some surf, some ski. I mean, the stock will not move in 1 week. You can monitor from a distance, but it's not as stressful as being a trader. Trading is even more stressful. That's my point. And yeah, the last point for this video is if you want a simple life, managing your own portfolio adds complexity, stress, and a lot of extra work. Yes, be aware of this. This is a good summary of all the points before. If you pick your own stocks, you will add some work. Okay, some workload on your weekends at the end of your work. You have to do some research. It will add some stress. If the market drops 5% in one day, if you have 2022 and the companies you bought and you loved fall 50%, that can be stressful. And it adds complexity because, yeah, you are entering a new world of financial markets. So, yeah, instead of only buying an ETF, now you are part of your future. Whether you are good or bad will have a clear influence on your wealth for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. If you are good, you will make a lot of money. If you are bad, poor you will... Oh, connection restored. If you are bad, poor you will underperform. Can you handle the underperformance? Will you give up? You will ask a lot of questions in the process. You will have some doubt. So the goal is to have a clear process, basically. This is what I teach my students. If you have a clear process, you know what to do, etc., you won't lose a lot. And that's how, I mean, having a consistent plan obviously helps. And having a consistent plan for the long term is the easiest way I found to build generational wealth. But you don't need to be in a hurry. In stock picking, you don't do pump and dump schemes. We are not rich in 12 days. We are rich over years, over decades. We are getting richer slowly but surely. This is the goal of the financial markets. And Warren Buffett has averaged a performance of 20% per year for 50 years or more. It's only 20% per year. So it won't make a difference after 1 year. But after 2 years, 5 years, 15 years, 25 years, it makes a huge difference to your wealth. If you like this content, I have an investing coaching program. In this program, you will learn a complete investing process. You will learn how to find good stock ideas, how to properly value stocks, when to buy, when to sell, so that you can build a strong portfolio with great companies. Additionally, in this coaching program, you will have access to my personalized guidance for long-term results. We will do weekly calls where we analyze stocks together, and you will have access to my private number available 24/7 for full support. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. Click the first link in the description below to get more information. You will get a short video that explains how everything works completely for free. No need for your mail address. Just click the first link in the description and I'll see you on the other side.